Welcome to JA Titan. I'm going to show you how to set up and play a multiplayer game. The first thing you're going to do is go to jatitan.ja.org and click on Login with JASA. From there, you're going to put in your email address that JA has on file for your username and your password that you've created in the JASA system. From there, you are going to go to Games on the left-hand side and click on Create New Game. Here, the first step is to name your game. You want to name your game something that you will be able to identify for the students to join that specific game, so make it identifiable. And then we need you to click on Manual Turn Completions. This is different from the old simulation, and please trust me. When you do automatic, it has a very short window in which all the students can log in and be ready. And it honestly was a little bit of a nightmare last year. And so to mitigate frustration, please use the manual turn setting option. Then you're going to do a custom game. We would encourage you to select $2 million, but feel free to make that easier or harder as you'd like. And for your very first session, we'd encourage you to stick with 4 quarters, but as you get into the game, you might even get into 8 and 12 quarters, and you'll kind of be able to feel what the students get. That is what we would encourage you to do for the standard game setup. If you do want to doppel in a scenario game, what you'll notice is that you have the opportunity to pick these various scenarios. I have personally not worked with these very much, so I don't have a recommendation from the JA side, but if you want to, you can use one of those if that makes sense for you as the teacher or the volunteer. But for the standard, we're just going to, again, do the custom game, 2 million, 4 quarters the first time, and you're simply just going to hit next. Then you're going to select the class. If you have the teacher view, you might have more than one class section. If you're the volunteer, you might only be in one. You're going to pick your specific class that you're in, and then you're just simply going to select this button right here that picks all players. What you're going to notice is that JA has provided 16 generic usernames. We have given you a spreadsheet in your email that corresponds to your specific class. What you're going to notice is in this spreadsheet, they are in numeric order. However, on the back end of Titan, they are hodgepodge. They are not in a numeric order. So the simplest thing to do is simply to select all players, because anybody who isn't in the game when you press start doesn't affect the game, and it just doesn't matter. So we would encourage you to select all, no matter how many teams are playing. JAUSA has told us that the game is optimized at 10 to 12 teams. You have up to 16 logins, but the game can accommodate up to 32. So if you would like to have more logins for your students to play individually against each other, please let JA staff know, and we're happy to get you more. So you're simply going to select all players, hit the next button, going to keep it with players as companies, and simply create your game. It's going to give you a summary of what you've selected, and you're simply going to hit submit. Okay, at this point, you're going to want to pause and not start the game until all of the students are in the class. So I'm going to jump over to Edge and show you a student login. You're going to notice that if you want to simply cut each of these rows apart, you can hand this out, 1 slip per team, and it's going to walk them through the steps of logging in. So what I'm going to do is use Edge as my student login. Again, jatitan.ja.org. They're going to log in with JASA. When they do that, they're going to have their generic email. Everybody's password is going to be Titan123 exclamation point with a capital T on Titan. Even though it's on this slip of paper, I would encourage you to write it on the whiteboard as well, just with overemphasis that Titan is capitalized. They're going to hit log in. When they get here, they're going to have to click yes, allow. So just let them know that that is safe to do. And then you're going to notice that they also get into a dashboard that looks similar to yours. What they're going to need to do is they're going to maybe get thrown off because there might be some game detail here in the middle that they get focused on. They need to first go to this upper right-hand corner and click play the game. So play the game. Then what they're going to do, and this is going to look similar to what your login looks like if you click that, but they're going to click on multiplayer simulation. Just so you know, if you would like to practice playing against the computer, or if any of the students would like to, you can click single player simulation and that gets you to play against the computer. However, for the actual students in the classroom, you're going to click on multiplayer simulation. When they do that, you're going to notice that if you have multiple games set up, you can set up all your games for all of your sessions right away if you want to, but this is why I said you have to have a name in which they can identify. So in this case, I'd want to say, everybody click on JA Demo 1. The students are just simply going to click on the join button. And this is going to walk them through their opening screens. This is going to showcase that they are a CEO selling cell phones. The way to win is to gain currency victory points in these 5 categories. They're just going to simply click on the down arrow. This is where they get to make a logo, so they can scroll through and pick out a shape they want. They can change the colors, they can change the backgrounds, they can name themselves, whatever, Cellorama, we'll call this one. If they want to, I would encourage them, they can pick their advisor, but I would encourage them to turn off this first time playing because you can walk them through the simulation. Otherwise, if they keep this on and hit done, what they're going to do is going to get into this lobby. And this is where you want all the student teams to be before you press the start game button. I cannot stress this enough. So I triple check. I often walk behind the students so I can see their screen and I make sure I see it for myself that this hourglass is turning. You will also see all the students pop in or the teams pop in on this left-hand side as they join. So once you can confirm that everybody is on this page, then you can go back to your team login, your volunteer or teacher side, and you can put start game. It will say, are you sure? Because it's going to immediately start and anybody not logged in is not going to get to play. So if for some reason, and what you'll notice now is that this end Q1 button has now appeared. So again, I'm going to go from Chrome, which is my teacher volunteer view, to Edge, and this is the student view. If they had that advisor checked, they can have the advisor give them a tour. But at any point, you can just simply shut that person down as well. You can always call them back up too. So that's just something that they can use. What you'll notice is that all of the students will need to make their choices and click next quarter before you actually end Q1. Okay, so just to pause for a moment, if for some reason there was a team that did not get into the game before you pressed start game, the simplest thing to do is just to divide that team up and have them join a team that did get successfully logged on. If somebody wasn't in and you pushed start game, then there is no way for them to join that game unless you completely start over and make a fresh game.